I hate to admit this, but Trump's bullying of Ukraine is probably making the world a safer place. I just saw, like, frankly, horrifying footage of Donald Trump berating the leader of Ukraine, Zelensky, in front of a bunch of journalists, like essentially shouting him down. It's horrifying, disgusting treatment of any human being, certainly any head of state. Certainly, any head of state that is currently defending itself from a violent war of aggression. There's no excuse for that kind of behavior. However, I think it might be making the world safer. I think that any ally of the United States who's listening to Washington, D.C. war hawks trying to drag them into a war at this point will always, I think for all time, after Donald Trump's presidency, look at that clip and know what it is to rely on the United States. Know how unwise it is to let Washington, D.C. drag them into a war that the American people has no interest in. No interest in, like, doesn't care about, has no benefit from. Do not listen to Washington, D.C. when it tries to get you to start a war. Do not listen to Washington, D.C. when it tries to get you to throw out your democratically elected president, as Ukraine did in 2014. Do not listen to Washington, D.C. It does not represent the United States people and what the United States people want. Hopefully, Taiwan is learning this lesson right now. And if they are, and that makes war over Taiwan much, much less likely, the world is dramatically safer because that is the most likely place to generate a nuclear exchange, the most likely place to generate World War III. Donald Trump abusing our pawns is horrible, but it makes people less likely to want to be our pawns, which means it makes World War III less likely. Gross stuff, but the Biden administration and every administration before that's tendency to drag people into wars, and of course the Trump administration's tendency as well, also really gross. Hopefully, after seeing what Trump is doing to Zelensky today, fewer American pawns, fewer people will fall into being pawns of U.S. militarists. That's the hope.